Today with Nova's day training, we decided to do a loose leash walking activity called Super Bowls, but we were doing a parallel version where we were working with another dog. This distance was too close, and so while I do get some eye contact from Nova and some attention from her, it's just too close. She's having too much reactivity on the leash towards that other dog, and that's just not going to be good training. So we decided to cut it out and take a break. You can see that the high tail over the back signifies agitation. There's lots of barking. Any of this bowing you're seeing is not a play bow. It's just her pulling on the leash. So here we move outside and we tried to gain some distance from this dog that's right in front here, Miss Navy, and Nova is back there in the background. But this was still too close for Miss Nova. I actually felt like outdoors was a little worse because we weren't just contending with a dog distraction, we were also contending with sniff distractions and traffic and things like that. So we did move indoors. I did set up my box work activity, which is why she is in an exercise pin. And we started really slow with Navy actually outside of the training arena. And the training arena has a baby gate that separates the training arena from the lobby. So she actually has two gates separating her from the other dog. I want you to kind of keep an eye on Nova's tail here. You can see she still has that high over the back tail, regardless of the fact that it's moving. Doesn't matter. The tail is high over the back, which signifies agitation, in addition to her barking and lunging towards the other dog. Some of the bowing that we're seeing, this is not a play bow. Nova is actually contemplating jumping over this gate. And so all of this is just high arousal. I would not call it aggression necessarily because Nova does play in the daycare yard. But on leash, the presence of another dog definitely agitates her. As a general rule, when I am wanting to know the emotional state of the dog, I look at their face. Nova's tail just happens to be really good communication, while a lot of dogs either don't have tails or their tails just don't communicate that well. I want you to kind of keep an eye on her tail though, because she does start to relax and you see it go from high over the back to a bit neutral. Neutral is going to be the tail is even with the spine. It's straight out, even with the spine rather than up over the back. With box work, our goal is to get the dog making good decisions on their own. So while she is on a leash just to help prevent her from jumping the fence, I am not using that leash for communication. I'm not luring her. And a lot of the times I'm not talking to her either. Eventually, when I find that she is neutral enough to make good decisions on her own consistently, I will begin adding in a recall, which is her name, and I will begin adding in sits and downs. I just want to also emphasize that box work is allowing the dog to make decisions on their own. So again, while she is on a leash, that leash is loose. I'm not trying to make her do any kind of behavior. I'm letting her come up with the answer that turning back towards me, making that decision on her own, is the right decision and will have the greatest payout. While the video is not very long in and of itself, I do want you to notice how we have taken our time. We started with the dog behind the other baby gate. Then we opened the gate and the dog was still on the outside of the training arena. Then we just worked on the dog stepping into the training arena, all while reinforcing Nova for making really good decisions on her own. Eventually, we build to this dog not just being in the room, but also moving back and forth, walking past. Eventually, we're going to start working our obedience together. But like I said, the video, while all things considered is short, we're slowly building towards our end result and our end goal. Essentially, though, we are not trying to rush our process. Soon, the other dog, the helper dog, is going to begin moving around the room. And I want you to notice that Nova's tail will on occasion return to that high over the back, agitated state. But we are going to start seeing her making fast, quick decisions on her own to turn back towards me. We're going to see a reduction in that bow hopping behavior she was doing earlier. And then we're going to see that I get to start adding some known behaviors. So she already knows sit, she already knows down, and she already knows her name very well. So even with this other dog working in the training arena, Nova's going to become much more relaxed, much more attentive, much more able to follow through with those known behaviors. And not only do her turnarounds become much faster, like she starts to choose on her own to re-engage with me. Keep an eye on her tail. We're going to notice that towards the end of this video, her tail does return to a neutral position, meaning it is not high over the back. It is straight out, even with her spine. It's not a loosey-goosey tail. She's not wagging it all enthusiastically, but it does go sort of down more even with the spine. And now she's feeling a bit more neutral and less agitated about the presence of this dog. In order for this to work long term, we would need to be rehearsing this daily for a long period of time, probably several weeks, potentially even several months, depending on the dog. So keep an eye here. You can see that we've started moving into obedience, but notice when Nova stands up again, how her tail stays downwards. It's not tucked, so she's not indicating any kind of fear, but certainly we're not seeing agitation. When you compare this to her tail from previously in the video, previous clips of the video to now, you can clearly see in her state and her body how much more relaxed she is with what's happening before she was earlier. Training is often trial and error, and we have to figure out different things to do for each individual dog so each dog can be successful. In this case, we tried several different things today to help with Nova's leash reactivity, and this was the most effective today. Moving forward, there's of course all kinds of things that we can do. But today, this was an excellent session, demonstrates excellent work, and I'm really proud of her progress today.